What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back here for some more content for you guys. What we're going to be doing today is we're going to be ranking the big sixes defences. We're going to see where we stand within the big six of the quality we have at the back. So the teams that we're going to be looking at are Man United, Manchester City, Liverpool, Tottenham, Chelsea and Leicester. Where do you think we rank
without absentees?
Well, I don't know any absentees there. none that should be there anyway.
Fair enough. So basically there's a debate at the moment. How much we're underachieving? How much is it down to Mourinho or down to the players and vice versa? So we thought it would be interesting we're going to rank where we think in the top six we should be in terms of the top six clubs, and then maybe at the end of this video, in terms of defenders anyway, we might do it later for strikers and midfielders, but maybe we'll have an idea of where this squad should be at defensively as opposed to where we are. So
all right, so shall we take a look at each team and run through their defence to start off with?
We're going to be doing it in goalkeepers, right backs, left backs, and centre backs as well. But if we run through how we're going to do it, so we're going to take for the goalkeeper, right back, and left back. We're just going to take basically we're going for the most used in each position, and for the centre backs, we're going to go for each team's best three centre backs, and as a group, which ones we think we're going to rank them like that.
Could get a bit confusing, but let's go. Let's do it.
No, it shouldn't be too confusing. All right. So for the goalkeepers, we've obviously got Lloris for Spurs, Ederson, Alisson for Liverpool, De Gea for Man United, Schmeichel for Leicester, and Mendy for Chelsea.
Although De Gea's been dropped a bit at the moment, hasn't he? He hasn't played a game since the beginning of March. Yeah,
but we're still right for the last month. He hasn't, but we're going for the most used this season.
Okay,
so De Gea's
in there.
He's their number one for at the moment. If we're gonna rank 1 to 6, and number 6, who do you think out of that 6? Who do you think is there? I actually think Mendy might be at 6.
I was gonna say Mendy or Schmeichel. I'm not too sure which one. I haven't seen enough of Mendy. That's the truth. I've seen a couple of games here and there. He's looked a solid keeper. But can I put him above any of the others? I'm not too sure about it. It's got to be Mendy or Schmeichel.
I haven't been sure of Mendy. He's made quite a few mistakes. He looks a bit shaky.
Everyone's made mistakes this season, though.
That is true, but I don't know. He doesn't fill me a lot of confidence. Mendy is like Lloris. A lot of his mistakes have been kind of shots slipping through his fingers and stuff like that. With Mendy, it seems to be a lot like decision making kind of things, which I see him making very crucial mistakes at. So I think Mendy comes in at number 6 for me.
You think Mendy's better than Schmeichel?
No, number 6 is the worst. Worse than Schmeichel.
I mean, do you think Schmeichel's better than Mendy?
Yeah.
I meant.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do. I think Mendy comes in number 6, and number 5. Who are we going to go for? So between Schmeichel, De Gea, Alisson, Ederson, and Lloris.
I think Schmeichel.
You think Schmeichel comes in number 5?
Getting on a bit as well. He's like 34 years old, Kasper Schmeichel.
He is. I actually think he's having a decent season.
I'm not saying he's a bad keeper. No, by no stretch of the imagination. I really rate Schmeichel, but when you put him amongst those other goalkeepers, I do think he comes in at 5th.
Okay, I agree. I think Schmeichel just about comes in at 5th. Number 4.
So we got Lloris, Alisson, Ederson, and De Gea. Probably De Gea.
You think De Gea? I agree. I think De Gea comes in number 4. I think it's been such a sustained period now of underperformance for De Gea. He's too hard to ignore. It's been like nearly 3 years, I would say.
Well, yeah, and that's the reason why he's out of the team as well.
Exactly. I think it's all come to a point where he's finally being dropped on a regular basis now. So I think De Gea at this point, also for Spain, he doesn't do well either. It's not he
got dropped by Spain in the last international break as well.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying it's not just for United he's making mistakes. I mean, like for Spain as well, he's constantly screwing up.
Has he made a lot of high-profile mistakes this season?
I think at the beginning of the season he was, but not. I would say he did go through a spell where he was playing quite well, which a keeper of his quality should do. But I think mistakes did kind of creep back recently, which is why he's been dropped again.
Okay.
I do think at the moment, he would become number 4.
So De Gea at number 4.
Number 3,
Lloris.
I think that's where Hugo goes.
Yeah, that's where Hugo sits in. I think that if he didn't go through that period of making awful mistakes, he went through like a 1 or 2 month period this season where he was just making mistake after mistake. If he didn't go through that period, I think you could say he was maybe at the top this season. But unfortunately, he did go through that period, so that's why he creeps back into 3rd.
And number 2?
Edison.
Edison, you put Alisson as number 1.
I put
Although
Alisson.
Alisson has made a lot of mistakes this season.
I wouldn't say a lot. I mean, he went through that period where his distribution was just awful, and he was giving the ball back to the opposition quite a bit. But I don't think it's for a sustained amount of time. His kind of mistakes, and I think over the course of the season, he's probably been the best.
As opposed to Edison. Why?
I think Edison as well. He makes his own mistakes. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The amount of times he comes rushing out, his distribution sometimes can be wanting. I think Alisson's a better keeper.
Just
than
Edison's
Edison.
distribution wanting. He has one of the best long passes for a
Yeah,
keeper
I'm
I've ever
talking
seen.
about his kind of short distribution. Sometimes it can go straight to the opposition. Obviously, he gets assists, and his distribution in that sort of way is brilliant. But what I'm talking about with Alisson, how he kept giving the ball back to the opposition and putting the Liverpool defence under pressure straight away. I think Edison's done a bit of that this season, but not as much as Alisson, to be fair.
So we're getting Alisson number 1, Edison number 2.
That's what I would do, yeah.
I think I agree with that. I think Alisson is a better goalkeeper than Edison. I think Alisson is a better goalkeeper than Edison. I think there's very little in it. I think Alisson is in terms of pure shot stopping and stuff like that, he's just a bit ahead of Edison. I think Edison, for what City needs, is actually better for them than Alisson would be. But I do think Alisson's probably just about shades it as a better. Who's the one for Brazil? Is it Alisson or Edison? It is Alisson. All right. So for the goalkeepers, Alisson number 1, Edison number 2, Lloris number 3, De Gea number 4, Schmeichel 5, Mendy 6.
I'll tell you what, though, with Alisson's new moustache, he looks a bit like David Seaman.
I think he's got a bit of semen about him.
Have you seen?
No, I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen his moustache?
So Alisson, I have seen it. Yeah, I've seen it. It's a bit crazy. It's a bit crazy, that moustache.
Looks like David Seaman, it reminds me.
Maybe he knocks him down a peg after that one. All right, we'll go to right backs. Of the right backs, we have Serge Aurier for Tottenham, Reece James for Chelsea, Trent Alexander-Arnold for Liverpool, Kyle Walker for Man City, Wan-Bissaka for Man United, and Castagna for Leicester.
Okay, I would go Castagna number 6.
Castagna number 6. Although in terms of ability, Castagna's number 6. In terms of consistency and someone you can rely on, Aurier might be number 6.
The thing is with Castagna, I thought he had a really good start to the season, but I haven't seen much of him recently, and he had big injury as well.
I think he did have a few injuries. I still think he's been quite a dependable player when he's been in that Leicester defence. You
can say Aurier's been that player for us this season. I know he kind of been in and out of the team, but I think that what you associate with Serge Aurier is reckless in defence and kind of very unreliable defender. You don't know what you're going to get, but I don't think we've had that with Serge this season.
I still think we've had it, but not as badly as we've had it previously. I still do think it's been that case. I think he has put in a number of really poor performances. Not just he's made some high-profile errors, but he's definitely cut down on them since last season. I think he's a very talented right back in terms of his ability to get forward. I just don't. He's one of those players that look. Can you rely on him over a season? I think there's always that risk with Aurier, even now.
Yeah, of course there is, but. I think it's been a lot less this season, or since Jose Mourinho has come in.
I agree.
He's been much more dependable.
He's definitely been better. He's been better since Mourinho's come in.
Obviously, he still has his flaws. I'm not saying he's a perfect right back, but I would put Aurier 5th and Castagna 6th, in my opinion.
Let's go do that. Castagna 6, Aurier 5. Number 4, Wan-Bissaka, Walker, Alexander or Reece James.
Wan-Bissaka for me.
Wan-Bissaka 4th.
I think Wan-Bissaka, out of those 6 fullbacks, I reckon he's actually the best defensively, but going forward, he's probably the worst.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I agree with as well. I think I think all 4 of them are very good right backs. I just think what the other 3 offer going the other way compared to Wan-Bissaka is a different kettle of fish.
Wan-Bissaka,
despite him being one of the best one-on-one defenders in the league.
I think you've got to put Wan-Bissaka at number 4.
Okay, number 4, Wan-Bissaka. Number 3, Trent, Walker or Reece James.
Oof.
I think Kyle Walker at number 3.
Really?
I do, unfortunately. Maybe a year ago I would have said not. I would have put him above Reece James, but I think actually Reece James is better than him now. But
the way they've played this season, surely you've got to put Trent at number 3.
I guess if you're basing on if we are basing it on this season, which we are, You probably do have to put Trent
Or put
at number
Trent
three.
at number 4 even, because Trent he's had a bad season, really bad.
He has. He's coming into form a bit of late.
Yeah.
But he has overall had a really poor season.
But then
and he's been out of the England squad.
Then again, if you're picking the England squad and you're choosing between Wan-Bissaka, Reece James and Trent, you're probably going for Trent.
Yeah, I'd still go for Trent all day long. I think
mean?
he's just so good on the ball. I do think ability-wise he's the best in the league. I really do believe that.
Defensively, though, he's found wanting a lot.
He is found wanting. He's still young, though. People forget he's still really young. He's like 22 or something, 21, 22, or 23. Like, he's still got a lot of time to develop that side of his game. Like, people just want the finished article because he's been so good for so long, Trent. Like, for 2 years, he's been that, like, behemoth at the right back, like, assist machine. And people just think, oh, like, if he has a dip, then that means he's, like, finished or something. Like, he's young. He's going to get it back. Like, he's still got serious quality.
Yeah.
So I do think he's the best in the league in that sense. I do think Reece James has come on leaps and bounds this season.
I think with Reece James, I think that he's better defensively than Trent. And obviously Trent is a lot better going forward than Reece, but I think that Reece is improving game by game, literally. And
his crossing is great.
Yeah, that's what I'm
really
saying.
Great.
So I think that Trent is better than Reece going forward, but Reece is still very, very good going forward. So I think as an all-round right back, Reece actually might be better.
That's right. Yeah, I think quality-wise, I think Trent is that much better on offensively that it does kind of make up for his defensive weaknesses a lot of the time. Or it used to be like, maybe not so much this season, but it used to be like that last season. Maybe if we're going this season, I think maybe you put Reece James at number 1, put Trent at number 2, and Walker number 3.
Well, if you're. It's just something not right about putting Trent at number 2 with the season he's had. That's the only thing I'm thinking.
So we think, okay, so maybe Trent number 3.
I was thinking maybe Reece, Walker, Trent, then Wan-Bissaka, Aurier, Castagna.
Okay, fine. We'll put Reece, then Walker, then Trent.
Having said that, though, Trent's probably going to start right back over Reece in the Euros.
He probably will. But I actually think Reece James has been the best this season. But I think I think he's coming on so well, Reece James. He's developing really, really well, so strong. All right, so for right backs, we got Reece James, number 1, number 2, Walker, number 3, Alexander-Arnold, number 4, Wan-Bissaka, number 5, Aurier, and number 6, Castagna. Left backs, we have. This is going to be a tough one.
Okay.
Reguilon, Chilwell, Luke Shaw, James Justin for Leicester, Cancelo for City, Robertson for Liverpool.
Okay, so Justin's number 6.
Justin is number 6. We're going 6 to 1. I actually think he was having a really good season up until he got injured.
Look, I think I rate Justin. I think he's a really good player, but when you put him alongside those players, he's 6th.
Yeah, and also I think he's more of an, even though he's played left back a lot this season, he's more of an actual right back. He's kind of had to fill in there.
João Cancelo's played literally every position this season.
Yeah, literally. So yeah, okay. So Justin at number 6. At number 5, this is difficult now. Cancelo, Robinson, Shaw, Chilwell, and Reguilon. Is Reguilon number 5?
I think so. I think it's between Reguilon and Chilwell.
Ooh, it is a tough one, that.
I think
Reguilon had obviously an amazing start, and I think up until early February when he got that injury, he was still pretty strong and one of the better left backs. But since he's come back from injury, he really, for a month now, he's been really not on. He's been off the boil. He hasn't been good. Chilwell, though, having said that, since Tuchel got appointed, he's had to share a lot of the responsibility of Alonso.
Scored a great goal yesterday.
He did score a great goal yesterday. I also think he had a really strong start and maybe hasn't kept up that kind of level, but he's still been a fairly consistent, even when he's been playing under Tuchel. But Alonso has come in a bit. If I was asked this a couple months ago, I probably would have said Reguilon just. Now I'm saying Chilwell just.
5th or
I mean, I would have said Chilwell just about 5th. Now I'm saying Reguilon just about 5th. It's a close one.
I think it is a close one. I think for the abilities that they both have, I think Reguilon has the scope to be the better player. But in terms of their whole season, it's hard to argue that Reguilon's been better than Chilwell. But it's also been hard to argue that Chilwell's been better than Reguilon. So it's a very, very difficult one. I think that the way both their seasons have gone, they're pretty much level, in my opinion.
They're pretty much level.
I would put Chilwell in 5 and Reguilon in 4, to be fair.
Chilwell in 5, Reguilon in 4. I think Reguilon has a higher ceiling than Chilwell.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah.
Okay, let's do that. Chilwell 5.
But it's hard to split them on how they've been this season. They've both been up and down a bit.
They have. Reguilon in 4. Then between Shaw, Cancelo and Robinson. That is tough.
I reckon Cancelo is number 3.
Number 3.
Yeah.
If you asked me maybe a month ago, I would have put him number 1. He was having such a good season.
Yeah,
Cancelo.
but not as a fullback though, as like more or less like a CM
midfielder. More literally.
Not really a fullback. I would put him in number 3. I really would.
Sure. Yeah.
Shaw's got to be number 1 in my opinion.
Shaw this season.
Yeah, he's got to be number 1. He's been top quality.
So Robertson at number 2.
Yeah, for the way that it's gone this season, but Robinson's actually, but he's a better fullback.
He is a better fullback than Shaw.
But the way this season has gone, you've got to put Shaw. So maybe we should put Robinson there because he is the better fullback.
Okay, I think we should as well. Let's put Shaw number 2, Robertson number 1. So our left back order is Robertson number 1, Shaw number 2, Cancelo 3, Reguilon 4, Chilwell 5, and Justin 6.
Mm-hmm.
Now comes to the centre backs. This is going to be an interesting.
So
one.
we're going on a pairing. Are we doing it on pairing or
we're doing
individuals?
We're doing it on not a pairing. It's not a pairing. It's what as in a choice of centre backs. Which ones are you ranking? Who has done? Who do you think is the best set? Basically. So for Spurs.
Yeah. So as a pairing.
What was the three? I've gone for 3.
3. Okay.
And so I've got for Spurs it's Dyer, Alderweireld and Sanchez.
6th.
For Leicester, Fofana, Sionchu, Evans, Lindelof, Maguire, Bailey for Man United, Zuma, Silva and Christensen for Chelsea, Diaz, Stones and Laporte for City, Kabak, Fabinho and Phillips for Liverpool.
Okay. So number 1 is 100% City. That's a certainty.
That's clear.
That's clear.
And number 2, is United clear number 2? Probably not, actually. Actually, it's probably a bit more of a debate because they also got Leicester there.
So remind me, United's Lindelof, Maguire, Bailly, Chelsea's Thiago Silva, Christensen and Zuma. Is that who you gone?
Yeah.
No, Rudiger. He's been quite...
Oh. You're right. It should be Rudiger, shouldn't it? But who's played more? If we're looking at who's...
1 sec. So, Chelsea, we're not putting Rudiger in there.
Well, I'm looking at who's played more this season. This is what I'm basing it on in terms of who's had the most games. And Christensen has played... they're actually level. They're level. 13
I've been
each
impressed with Rudiger.
of late, but he was completely frozen out, wasn't
Yeah.
he? Under Frank Lampard.
Yeah.
And then since Tuchel's come in, he's come in quite a lot.
I think
But
you got.
Christensen-
I think you got to put Chelsea up there. Look at their defence, how it's been since Tuchel's come in.
Yeah, they've performed very, very well. But in terms of quality, okay, let's put Rudiger in there instead of Christensen. So you got Zuma, Silva, and Rudiger. In terms of quality, where do you think they rank? Are they better than Lindelof, Bailly, and Maguire? I think maybe just about.
I think just. Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I don't think there's much in it, to be fair. But I think just. And as well, how they're performing under Tuchel. I know West Brom game aside, they've hardly conceded a goal.
Okay. Zuma, Silva, Rudiger there. Number 2.
Man U number 3.
Do Leicester not have a potential for number 3? Sionchu, Fofana, Evans? Could that not be number 3?
Well, Evans is a Man U reject.
I know, but he's still a pretty good defender. He won the league for Man United as well.
Do we think any of those 3... It's funny because Maguire's come from Leicester to go to Man United. Johnny Evans has gone from Man United to go to Leicester. Would any of those players get in that United team consistently? I'm not too sure about it right now.
I think Fofana, you could argue, is better than Lindelof. Sionchu, is Sionchu any worse than Maguire?
Maguire's better than Sionchu,
Why?
in my opinion. I just think Maguire.
Both big units.
I know that. I think Sionchu, I thought that before his injury he was a lot better. I don't think he's got back to his best yet. I think that Maguire, I think he's been a rock at the back for United recently. I really do. And he provides some important moments for Man United. I do think Maguire's a better player, especially after the injury.
Okay, that's a fair comment. I actually agree with that. Since he's come back to his injury, he hasn't been as good. Fofana's been a bit of a revelation this season, though.
Yeah, but you can't put Leicester's defence better than Man U just because of Fofana.
No, it's not their defence. The quality of their centre-backs.
Yeah, I think United are better than Leicester.
Okay, let's go. United 3, then Leicester 4, and then Spurs and Liverpool fighting out for 5 and 6. Would you rather Kabak, Fabinho and Phillips or Dyer, Alderweireld and Sanchez?
Don't want any of them, to be fair. just Fabinho. Who do I want?
Is the fact Fabinho there make all the difference? Does having Fabinho there in that back four improve like the rest of your defenders?
I don't know, man. But the fact that Van Dijk and Gomez have been injured for so long, you'd probably take the Liverpool set anyway, just because you got those players coming back at some point.
I know. But if we're talking, if you were given the choice in your squad, right, you have. You can either choose Kabak, Fabinho, and Phillips as your choices, or Dyer, Alderweireld, Sanchez as your choices. Who are you choosing?
Probably the Tottenham guys.
Probably just about.
Just about. Yeah.
Even though obviously
Kabak's rubbish.
Kabak is. I don't think he's rubbish. I think he's a young defender who's coming from a really bad, struggling Schalke team. But he's actually a talented young defender. And I think given time, he could develop into something. I'm not saying he could develop anywhere near like Van Dijk or Gomez, but like a solid Premier League defender, I think.
Dyer.
Exactly. I think he can be better than Dyer, Kabak, for sure. For sure he can be better than Dyer. Phillips, I'm not so sure about. I think he's pretty average. But I think when you got Fabinho and Kabak there, obviously Fabinho would get into that. But if you were to select two defenders out of those four, it'll probably be Fabinho and Alderweireld. And
Fabinho's not even a natural centre-back.
Yeah, I know, but Fabinho would get in there, wouldn't he? For sure would be the number one. I think, just about you'd go Dyer. You'd go Spurs ones. Just.
But anyway, Liverpool, when they get their two top centre-backs, they probably go into the top two and Tottenham go down to 6th.
Okay, exactly. You're right. But for now, Spurs are in 5th. So... right now, what we've got of our rankings is for goalkeepers we're 3rd, right backs we're 5th, left backs we're 4th, and centre backs we're 5th. So I guess if you take that as an average, from our estimations, if we're doing a league table, it's Spurs. So it's Leicester at 5.25, they're in 6th. Spurs are in 5th, 4.25. Chelsea are in 4th, 3.5. Liverpool, Man United are in 3rd, at 3.25. Liverpool are in 2nd, 2.75, and City are in our top.
So obviously, when Liverpool's centre backs come in, it'll be much closer between Liverpool and Man City, won't it?
For sure.
So you've got Man City and Liverpool out there clearly at the top two in terms of their defence. Then you've got Man U in 3rd. I think Man U and Chelsea is a bit tough. What's the two averages there? Is it very similar?
Man U and Chelsea, very similar,
Yeah, so you got them two very similar, and then you've got us and Leicester.
Us and Leicester,
but there's quite a bit of a gap between us and Leicester.
There's quite a bit of a gap between us and Chelsea as well.
Yeah, so it just
Man
proves
United.
We've got a lot of improving of our defence.
A lot of improving, but it's still, so we've got us at 5th. Obviously, if we put West Ham in there and Everton in there, I reckon West Ham would be above us in a couple of categories as well.
You reckon?
I reckon maybe potentially centre-backs they'd be ahead of us.
I mean, Craig Dawson and who have they got there?
They got Diop and Ogbonna. I like Diop. I think Diop's a good player.
Yeah, maybe.
I think Koufal...
you take him at Spurs,
I
Diop,
think Soufal is better than... could be better. Is Soufal better than Aurier, potentially?
The thing is, these players are looking good in this West Ham team right now, but if you put them in a proper top 6 team, will they still look good?
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? In
Craig
terms of
Dawson,
quality.
because was struggling to get into the West Brom side a few years. You know what I mean?
He was starting regularly for West Brom. But anyway, for example, Everton, you got Digne, who might be better than Reguilon.
Digne's a top. I love Digne as a player. He's a very, very good player.
Top quality player. But
But then
based
they got
on
Seamus
that,
Coleman on the right.
Based on that, right? So we're saying out of the top 6, we're 5th, right? And out of these teams, we're what are we saying? No, we're 5th out of these teams as well, because we're above Liverpool, but we're below Leicester. So how much are we underperforming defensively? Or is it pretty much as expected?
I think in terms of the results and where we are in the table, I think, where are we in the table? With in the actual table?
6th.
6th. I mean, probably 5th is our position, I think, in terms of the quality of our squad. I think that we should be above West Ham, should be above Leicester, but Liverpool probably should be above us. So, yeah, around 5th, I think. So we are, in terms of, we're underperforming because we're behind West Ham and Leicester, but Liverpool are just massively underperforming. That's got nothing to do with us, really. I think, yeah, we should be in 5th. We should be in 5th. And I think that when you look at our defensive frailties this season, when you look at the way we actually set up, we've set up well in terms of getting the results on board. And it's just the concentration levels, the attention to detail why we're losing in these last few minutes of games. Because if we wouldn't have dropped these leads, how many points have we dropped in the last few minutes? Like 11 points or something.
13 points.
13 points. Where would we be with 13 points right now?
I agree.
Like, it's ridiculous. So, like, if we would have got those 13 points and not been so frail at the back and, like, losing your concentration in the last few minutes, we would be, like, 2nd or 3rd in the league right now.
And in terms of actual goals against this season, in terms of goals we've conceded,
we're
4th.
4th least.
We're 4th. Only City, this says Man City, Chelsea and Aston Villa conceding less than us. And it's also very close because we're 32, Villa 31, Chelsea 30. So it's very tight in that sense. It's just interesting just looking at it though, like, because obviously there's this, there's a whole, we all know there's quite a split fan base at the moment. Jose, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's just, I'm wondering how much of it is justified in terms of how we're playing and stuff like that, and how much is it an overreaction to how much we are underperforming.
I think that when you look at
in terms of the quality defenders we have,
when you look at Pochettino's team at Spurs, like, yeah, at Pochettino's pomp we had an amazing defence. So I don't think that our defence was overachieving, if that makes sense, under Pochettino. I think our defence are slightly underachieving now. So it just proves that we just need an overhaul in that defence big time. We need to get back to those levels that we were at under Pochettino. Prime Jan, Prime Toby, Prime Walker. Well, not Prime Walker, but a very good Kyle Walker and a Prime Danny Rose. We need to get back to those levels in every single position at the back. So, yes, we are underperforming still a tiny bit. But it's difficult to put your finger on it because these last-minute goals, what are they down to? Are they down to concentration levels? Are they down to what this sports psychologist guy was saying in terms of fear of getting criticised and want that? Is it a psychological problem, or are they just not good enough? Like, it's difficult to say.
There's one thing of what you put it down to, but in terms of quality defenders, like, we are 6th in the league fair, but we're 4th in the league for goals conceded. So is it not like pretty much par? Isn't that what we expect from this set of defenders in a way? Maybe,
but it is true. But I just said that we weren't overperforming with the defence we had under Poch. But I would say that we're so used to at Spurs now, like, kind of overachieving. So
that's what I kept saying.
Yeah, you keep saying it.
Poch's greatest strength was he normalised overachieving.
But yes, he overachieved, but the defence didn't overachieve. The defence were actually top quality.
Yeah, they were.
So that was the kind of foundations Poch laid his team on. And if you don't have a top defence, it's very hard to overachieve. So you need that defence to go forward. And I think that if we have that same level of defence that we had under Pochettino, we wouldn't have to overachieve to achieve our goals.
Yeah.
Because our midfield and our attack is very, very good.
I agree. But anyway, that was an interesting video. So we've got Spurs in the top 6 as having the 5th best defence. We've conceded the 4th least goals.
So just run through the top 6 again. Who from 6th to 1, where every team is at, in our opinion.
From 6th to 1. So at number 6 we have Leicester, who we think have the 6th. So they're Rodgers apparently doing a great job according to our estimations. They have 6th best defence. At number 5, we have Spurs. At number 4, we have Chelsea. At number 3, Man United. Number 2, Liverpool. Even with their 6th at centre backs, we still have them at number 2. And number 1 is Man City.
All right.
So that is our average rating for ranking all the top 6 defences in that order. But let us know what you think. Does that tell you anything about how much Spurs are underachieving or over it, or not, or on par with where they should be?
Yes.
Or can you read too much into it or not enough? Let us know. I want to know people's thoughts.
It pretty much says that we're performing at par. But what does that tell you about the job that Jose is doing? Because if we wouldn't have conceded all these last-minute goals, then we would be 2nd or 3rd, and we would be
Correct.
overachieving. So, it's like, who's that down to? Who are these last-minute goals down to? I mean, you got to point the finger at everyone, I guess, don't you? So, the fact of the matter is, it doesn't matter for us to say but we have conceded those last-minute goals at the end of the day. So we are where we are, and we're probably performing at par.
All right. So let us know. I want to know people's thoughts. It's an interesting debate.
All right, so there you have it. That is our ranking of the defences in the top 6. Let us know where you rank everyone in the big 6 in the comment section below. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.